Welcome to Dental Unscripted, where Mike Dinzio and Paula Quinn break down the practice ownership journey, one episode at a time. Starting up, buying, and running a successful dental practice.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Dental Unscripted. My name's Michael Dinzio. My co-host Paula Quinn are here today, dropping another pod on you guys. And today we're going to discuss all things SBA lending. I think it's a good topic because SBA is kind of pretty important to this environment, dental lending and dental acquisitions and real estate and all the things. And I was just saying to Bert, it's been 5-7 years. I had never had this conversation before. So I'm excited to get this thing going. But before we do that, little housekeeping, like, subscribe, all the things. We do this for fun. We love to give back to the community. And we would just love for you guys to give us some love on the socials and follow us so that you guys can keep getting this great information. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get cracking here. Our guest today is Bert Smith with Live Oak Bank. He's a SVP of Healthcare Lending. I've been doing business with these guys for, I was just saying, almost a decade. And they always come through and they always have a great customer, like excellent customer service. I think that's their thing. And that's weird to say for SBA because SBA is a painful process. And these guys have figured out how to make people smile through the process, which is unique. So Bert, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Mike. It is long overdue. I can't believe I haven't done this yet. So great to be here.
We're waiting on your beautiful studio to be finished. You look very professional back there.
Yeah, I can guarantee you it was not me that set this up. You don't. My home office is a nightmare, but this is good. I've got lights.
Why do you think my back is just blurred, Bert? I just blur it.
Yeah, everybody just blurs it out. Your sound sounds impeccable, Bert. I was just gonna say that when Paula got into business, she used an SBA loan, and I don't think it was a white glove service. So, so we can
painful, very painful.
Yeah. A lot of people have that comment. So I think today is a good thing because we get to debunk what SBA lending is and should be. And so without further adu, I'm just going to get right into it. And by the way, for anybody that's watching live, ask your questions, guys. Like, we've got Bert, you got me and Paula here. We're really here for you. And for those of you watching on Instagram or YouTube, send a comment and we'll answer it. But okay, first question. Right into it on the hot seat. This is going to be hopefully not a complicated conversation, Bert, but my first question is what is the SBA? Because it's like, it's just kind of like this thing, and you go on to Chat GPT and it's like people are trying to figure out when people say SBA, what's it mean? What is this?
Yeah, well, let's start with the acronym, right? It's the Small Business Administration. And I think a lot of people don't realize that it's actually a department of government, right? The head of the Small Business Administration sits in the cabinet of the president. So this is a small cabinet, a small department, but people spend a lot of time, energy, resources putting together a team on the SBA every administration. The SBA was created to help small business owners get access to capital and run their business, right? That's the mission of the Small Business Administration. The SBA has rolled out a couple of different lending programs that are available based on what you're trying to do as a business owner, but the goal is to help small business owners get access to capital when it's not available through conventional or normal methods. So that's really what it's there to do. And then banks utilize those SBA lending programs to make the loans to the small business owners.
Perfect. I love that. And I know what you're thinking, folks, driving into work. You're like, well, anything connected to the government is going to be a hot mess. And that's probably true at your your motors bureau local, getting your license in the counter, and it's just a hot mess. But um and so to that point, kind of my question then is like, you know, we've all heard of folks that went through this process, and it was a painful process. I think Paula could probably share her story there, but anything government related has their
Mhm.
hands in on it. It can be complicated. I Is that true? And go ahead, Paula. Yeah,
I
what
was
is
gonna say besides signing your firstborn and life away, I mean, it really wasn't that bad.
Oh. Well said.
It was every time I turned around, there was a piece of paper to sign. I'm like,
Yeah.
"How many documents do I have to
So
actually?"
what you're saying is Hannah is act belongs to the
She belongs
SBA.
to the government. No, I actually paid it off. She did for a while belong to them, but it's paid off, so she no longer.
She's yours again. That's great.
Yay me!
Yeah. Well, it's so funny too, because dental is such a unique industry, and everyone is like, well, of course a bank will make me a loan. I'm a dentist. And that is true to an extent. People don't understand. I mean, Live Oak Bank is the largest small business lender in the country by volume. We lend in like 30 plus different industries where we have built a team in a niche around an industry where we've seen a need and, tried to fulfill that opportunity. But in a lot of industries, banks aren't just like ready to lend money to a small business owner, right? And Paula may have experienced that being a non-dentist buying a business. Most industries, banks do need a little help, and I can kind of get into how the SBA does this, need a little help getting the loan out to a small business owner in a way that feels safe for the lender. Dental is not like that, right? Dental clients are very sought after, high income earners, need a lot of help. And a lot of times you have to borrow a significant amount of money to start up, acquire, or expand your practice. And so banks love that. But there are opportunities or situations where, as you know, Mike, it makes a lot of sense for the practice owner to do whatever they're trying to get done. But a bank is just coming up short or not willing to approve financing because the project's too big or the timing's not right. And that's where banks like Live Oak utilize SBA financing to help get those doctors into those opportunities.
No, I love that you said that. I think people do need to understand that, when you walk into a Bank of America, let's just say Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, whatever,
Big bank.
big banks, you walk into big banks and you want a loan. And if for whatever reason that particular bank feels that you don't qualify for their rules, their underwriting requirements, then those banks can go to you or the SBA and say, "Hey, we would like for you to participate in the risk of this loan, Mr. Government or Miss Government."
Yep.
And the government's like, "Sure, we'll share some of this risk." And now all of a sudden, those borrowers have access to cash. Would you like to break that down maybe even better than I just did?
I don't know if I can. That's exactly what happens, right? When you get an SBA loan, the bank is getting some sort of assistance or guarantee from the federal government or some sort of enhancement to the credit that we're offering that makes it a safer loan for the bank in the unlikely event that something goes wrong and the loan defaults. And that's how we're able to get the loan out to the customer when conventional financing is not available.
Is it too weird or too, like, maybe out of your element to ask, like, why is the government willing to do that? It's just
It's a
they
great question. Yeah.
encourage small businesses and they're, like, willing to just so that there's more small businesses out there?
Small business is a bipartisan political issue, right?
I don't
um,
wanna get crazy, I
you,
just
you, you're never going to hear anybody running for federal office or state office say, we really want more business to be done at big corporations and less to be done at small businesses, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah.
nobody is coming out and saying that. So it is a politically motivated thing, but I do think it's a benefit to society, right? The ability for you to have access to capital as a citizen of this country, formerly a lawful permanent resident, but currently you have to be a U.S. citizen to get SBA financing.
Oh, we're
Um,
going this way.
yeah, um, we don't have to, but just calling that out, that's a recent rule change. Um, that is, a good thing, right? Small business is the bedrock of American
Well,
society.
I was happy I got, to partake in that for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Paula, you bought a business, you employed people, you paid your taxes, you gave your employees benefits. I mean, all the things. And without that, maybe support, there wouldn't be as many small businesses.
Correct. Yeah.
That's a fact. I do want to mention though, like when you walk into those banks, and it doesn't have to be the big box banks, it could be any bank.
Yeah.
um there are three participants in these loans, right? Can you kind of explain that? What I mean by that is you got the borrower putting something in, you've got the actual bank putting some, and then they got the SBA. Can you explain that participation kind of agreement or structure, because it's pretty much the way SBA loans work, right?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. And the two flagship programs in the SBA world are the 7A loan product and the 504 loan product. 504 is what we call it. The 7A product is what we specialize in the most at Live Oak. It is a very flexible loan product. You can use it to acquire a business, start a business, buy real estate. And the way it works is the bank is going to make you, the small business owner, the dentist, a loan. And we will obtain a 75% guarantee from the federal government saying that, if something goes wrong and there's a default, if we liquidate all of our collateral and, try to recoup as much of the money as we can, whatever we're still left out of at the end of that, 75% will get repaid by the federal government if we made a valid qualifying loan and did all of our paperwork right and, use the program in the way that the federal government wanted us to use it. That 75% guarantee allows us to do things and get comfortable with opportunities that other banks, bigger banks, just might not want to do. And Michael knows every project we've worked on, it's usually a bigger real estate project, ground up construction, somebody that's growing faster than a big bank likes, and they need funding with less money down or, a longer term. And we can help the client get that done with terms that are reasonable.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love that. So I think we kind of covered like why you might use an SBA loan. It just gets you over the hump when it's borderline. But I will say that when you go on ChatGPT or Google or whatever and you search, is it a good idea, or Reddit? Reddit's a good one, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like SBA nightmares, right? And I think we should probably discuss the difference between a preferred lender versus kind of like Joe Schmo's bank down the street who does some SBA lending. I mean, you just mentioned Live Oak, and I knew that. Not too many people know that Live Oak is the number one SBA lender in the country. It's a big, big number. And you guys are obviously preferred. But what's it mean to be preferred? Because not all SBA lenders are preferred. And what does that get you? Because I can vouch, which is why you're on your program. You guys offer impeccable white glove service. And that's not the case sometimes when you go to Joe Schmo Bank that participates in the SBA. So break that down. Like, why are you easier to work with?
Yeah, I mean, I think historically, the SBA department at a local bank or a regional bank is like a couple people in an office somewhere, and they take all the stuff that their other lenders at the bank are turning down. And so, this concept that SBA is a backup option creates a situation where the bank maybe doesn't invest in the SBA program as much as other banks would, or just doesn't have the knowledge or expertise. And SBA lending is very different depending on the bank you work with and their knowledge of the product. At Live Oak, we have literally looked at industries that we lend to, and mine is the dental space, and said, where would an SBA loan and the terms that we can offer fit in this very competitive, very sought after part of the financing landscape? And so just by saying that we're a specialist and not a generalist, we're not all things to all people, but here's where we fit really well and where an SBA product can help. A lot of times, Mike, a lot of doctors don't think that they can buy real estate when they're starting up a practice, or don't think they can afford a big relocation project because they don't have the money to put down. And that's, not simply true with SBA financing. You can do 100% financing under the current rules as an existing practice owner and obtain real estate financing with a really reasonable down payment if you're doing a startup. So we have figured out instances or situations where we can educate the industry about opportunities that practice owners can get into that they didn't think they could get into. And that inherently is different than being a backup option at a big bank to a conventional loan.
Love that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. Um, well, before we get to like the newest thing, that's the exciting news, is there anything else you want to add or Paula ask on this whole SBA kind of idea concept? I think we did a pretty good job of explaining what it is and why you might want to use it. You've got a new thing that you want to talk about. I think it's really relevant in the dental space. Anything else to add, guys, before we jump over to the express loan?
Would this be also, I know you're going to explain your products and kind of your new one, and you explain that, rather than be a backup plan, this is, if someone's buying real estate or moving, there are different projects, this would help with affordability. But it can doctors who maybe have been turned down for traditional loans due to credit or a history of some unfortunate events, is this also an option through Live Oak for an SBA loan?
It's definitely an option, and we should have the conversation about it. SBA lending is a great conversation to have whenever you get turned down conventionally with a big bank. So the question then becomes, which bank is going to take on the risk of approving your request? So, more marginal credit, issues in the past. A lot of times SBA lenders can document what happened and get comfortable with the narrative instead of just looking at your credit score and saying no. For example, bankruptcies are something that do not disqualify you from an SBA loan, but you have to find a bank that's going to be willing to look at your past history, look at the story and say, yes, we still want to do this. But it does give you the opportunity to think about every situation critically instead of having a scorecard from a credit criteria standpoint.
And I do want to I do want to piggyback off that, because I don't think the narrative should be, and I know that's not what you were intending, but what I just want to add to that maybe SBA shouldn't be the backup. Sure, bankruptcies or major risk, big risk deals kind of need the SBA, and so buyers oftentimes, startups oftentimes think, well, gosh, if all the conventionals aren't going to do it, I shouldn't do this deal.
Right.
I'll be the first one to tell you that there have been at least five, maybe 10 two-hand type deals that I believed in, I liked, conventional didn't. It could be simple things like maybe you're a dentist that practices in a Medicaid office currently, and your production report doesn't show that you can handle this practice that you're looking to buy, and the lenders are asking for production reports to support this new venture, and you can't provide them a production report. Well, your hand speed's actually faster than the sellers because you worked Medicaid, but the conventional lenders don't understand that. I dealt with that literally last night. um Maybe the cash flow of the practice is bad because the seller is a horrible manager, and we can clearly see all the things that we can tweak to make this business more profitable, And so we need to stretch the loan out to 25 years with Bert to make it cash flow. And then there's like a lot of scenarios where it's not a questionable or a bad deal, or it's not a huge character flaw in the buyer, but it's just an SBA deal, and that's okay. I think this idea of SBA being the backup is not sure. If it's a fairway right down the middle, par three, easy layup, whatever you want to call it, yeah, that's probably going to be conventional. But there's a lot of deals that are not fairway. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And we love putting strong buyers, good producers, the people that, you and I have worked with over the years, Mike, into opportunistic scenarios. And sometimes that opportunistic scenario is like a practice that has decreased in collections for a couple years because the seller is taking some time off, but the real estate is available, but it doesn't cash flow. But you could see with projections that are very reasonable of
Reasonable.
what our buyer could do in that office based on their ability to produce at their current jobs and their demonstrated history, that this makes sense all day long. And so I think that's a perfect use case. Another one, doctor that was doing a ground up startup in another state from where they lived. Conventional lenders dismiss that all day long. They say you need to have history of income in your current market. We looked at it and said, okay, wait a minute. Like, why are you moving to this other state? Well, it turns out both their families are from there. Like they have siblings that are practicing dentists nearby. And so it's like, okay, is there really that much risk that these two are not going to be able to obtain employment when they move from one state to another? And so I love digging into the narrative and having the debate about what makes sense for the customer. And the SBA product and that guarantee you get from the government allows you to do that.
Yeah. Great idea, or great examples. I'll even say, Paula's practice that she bought was not the prettiest practice on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And, even if Paula was a dentist, now thinking about it, maybe the conventional lenders may not have still even given you a loan for that practice. Turned out to be one of the best things that you ever did, right, Paula? I mean, financially. So
Yeah.
you probably would have been SBA anyways, and that's a perfect example of that. So, yeah. So, okay, let's get to the real reason that this podcast has existed, and you've got some exciting news about a product that I haven't taken advantage of, but I will in the future. I know it. So, walk us through like this express loan that you just released. It's kind of hot off the press.
Yeah, it is. So the SBA has always wanted banks to focus on smaller dollar opportunities, right? The limits of the SBA 7A program right now allow one business owner to borrow up to $5 million. There's a way we can go beyond that with non-SBA money. We can get into that on another podcast. But, the government says, hey, we want businesses that just need, a couple $100,000 to expand or consolidate credit card debt or, pursue a new opportunity. We want these programs to be used by banks for those types of opportunities as well. The challenge was that it took the same amount of paperwork, time, and energy on the bank's level to underwrite a $200,000 SBA loan that it did a $2 million SBA loan. So the federal government kind of took that feedback and offered very streamlined underwriting requirements for smaller dollar requests. And this has been kind of unfolding over the last couple of years. Live Oak Bank has responded to that initiative and has built a team that we call our Express team. The Express team can get you an SBA 7A working capital loan of up to $350,000 on a 10-year term with no prepayment penalty, no requirement to refinance or pay off any of your existing debt. And
no firstborn. Hannah's safe.
No firstborn, no real estate as collateral for this smaller loan product.
Charlotte and Hannah are safe. This is great.
And my house.
And your house is not on the hook. Yeah.
And your house. And so we can make that loan. It's money in your bank account. we're
Cash. It's
we're
cash. That's what you mean. Yeah, it's
yes,
cash in your
it's
bank account.
cash.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cash in your bank account, and it's available in all SBA eligible industries for established businesses that have positive cash flow. Um, in the healthcare and veterinary space, Live Oak Bank has also decided to make these working capital loans on a pro forma for new business owners. So if you're a doctor that recently acquired a practice and you're doing well 3 to 6 months in, but because of insurance timing, reimbursement timing, you might need a little additional money. Live Oak can underwrite and approve this loan pretty quickly, like a couple business days from application to approval, 2 to 4 weeks funding timeline.
Wow.
Um, and again, it's money in your bank account. So
Okay,
startup,
Bert, I got a question.
yeah,
So Paul and I, we've kind of earned a reputation in the marketplace as the Hell's Kitchen of dental consulting, where doctors are struggling. They might be in a SAG
mhm,
department. I'm speaking banking terms now. For folks that don't know what that means, people that are in some trouble with the bank, with their first loan and maybe not as profitable as they could be. And now we're getting referrals from SAG departments, basically departments within Bank of America provide some choice banks that are sending us clients because their clients are in some trouble.
yep,
And so I'll ask, this is the perfect example of potentially an SBA reach out help where they need to finance us. They need to finance a better marketing strategy, and they might need something refinance, an equipment loan refinance, because some freaking Patterson rep sold them on a 3-year term of a freaking whatever, and now they can't manage their bills. They need help and they need marketing. That's a perfect example of what maybe this express loan could do. Am I putting you too much on the hot seat? Is that something that we could discuss? Yeah.
absolutely. We can discuss it. I mean, I'll be very clear that once you hit the 36-month mark of your business operating history, you're considered an established business. And we need to see the business have an ability on a simple cash flow test to cash flow our new loan payment as well as any existing loan payments that will still be there after we close.
Okay.
So we're not, going to do turnarounds for existing businesses, but a lot of times I've
Hmm.
done several consolidations with this product where people have had high business credit card debt, non-bank lenders, and once we take that high interest rate, high payment debt out, the practice cash flows beautifully.
Just
And
fine.
so
Yeah.
so we can certainly do that. And then
But you said 36 months. So think about all those startups that just didn't do it right. We do a lot of startup coaching.
yep.
36 months, that's 3 years, right? So if you're a startup in that in 2 years in and your marketing money ran out and you
Mm.
made some bad decisions with hiring, right, Paula? Like all of these startups, what do they want to do? Tell me with the startups. What do?
Hire their village.
They
Yeah.
hire a village. They offer too many
They open
days.
5 days a week. They
They just
Yep.
make some key mistakes, and their marketing didn't work. And then they hired like Paula said, a village. And so there's just small tweaks that get people right back into the black. So it sounds like this program could be great Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great fit for that opportunity. I'll just say right now our FICO minimum is 680. So any new practice owner, as long as it hasn't bled into your personal financial situation, that's the minimum FICO we're looking for. But yes, for those new business owners where it's starting to click, but it just took a little while, or the ramp up took longer than expected, or you made bad decisions with your initial working capital, and now you're trying to rectify that with the help of incredible dental consulting. Yeah, that's a great fit for this Express program.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to finding some of those opportunities that make sense for this program and sending them over to Live Oak Bank. Guys, anything else that you could think of on the SBA lending topic? Um, I I think I think you guys do some really great things for the industry. I will also say the fact that you're dental specific SBA is really helpful. Try having a conversation with an SBA lender at credit union, whatever. And I don't even think that's possible, but whatever. And discussing production gaps and dental equipment that costs 250,000. Like it just, these conversations go right over their head. So you want to work with a dental SBA lender. Live Oak, of course, is that. And yeah, anything else, Bert, that you'd like to add to the description below when we post this up there? And last comments.
I think we covered it. If anybody wants to reach out to me to discuss an express loan or look at their next project, just reach out. Get my contact info from Mike.
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks again, guys, for enduring another bank conversation. But it's so important that you guys can get access to capital so that you can continue to grow your business. And the smart people use other people's money. And fantastic folks like Bert and banks like Live Oak help you do that. And we should all be grateful, with incredible terms and great customer service. So without further ado, let's shut this bad boy down. Reach out if you can think of any opportunities for Bert, and we'll catch you on the other side. Bert, thanks so much for your time today.
Joining, Bert.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Paula.
Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Let us know how you like the show. Rate us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe and follow for more.